Nearly every mass shooting, we've seen efforts to ban dangerous weapons thwarted, and then leaders send their thoughts and prayers while they throw their hands up, resigning themselves to the idea that gun violence is a sacrifice that Americans must accept. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Illinois is now the 9th state in the nation to pass a ban on the sale or possession of semi-automatic weapons. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the legislation on the first full day of his second term. The bill bans dozens of types of rifles and handguns, as well as attachments and rapid firing devices. It also requires people who already own those guns to register them with the Illinois State Police. And Governor Pritzker joins us now. Thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations on this. How do you think it'll make your state safer, or at least a step toward that? And what was the battle like to get to this moment?
Well, thanks, Mika. Look, our state will be safer because taking these weapons off the streets means that there will be fewer incidents of a mass shooting at a parade or against worshipers in their church or students at school, our own children. These are weapons that can fire, well, as happened in Highland Park, 83 bullets within less than 60 seconds. This has happened too often across the country and, of course, in Illinois. And so we just went after it. You know, 8 states had done it. We knew we could get it done, but we had to work hard. The activists, the advocates, have been working for years to get to this point, and now we've, elected a Democratic governor, a Democratic legislature, leaders, the president of the Senate, the House Speaker, who himself lost a family member to gun violence, all of whom came together to get this done, and it is a big deal. Hundreds of lives will be saved each year.
Governor Pritzker, good morning. Some of this is in response, as you alluded to that just horrifying shooting on the 4th of July in Highland Park using an AR-15 style rifle that killed 7 people in one of your suburbs of Chicago. Your Republican challengers, the advocates you were just talking about there, have already promised legal challenges to this, going up to the Supreme Court if necessary. Are you confident it can withstand those challenges?
I am confident. We, of course, had lawyers, constitutional lawyers, look at this legislation. Remember, it already exists in 8 other states, so we're just the 9th one. And frankly, we need a national law. We need Congress and the president to come together and do this. I went to Washington with the mayor of Highland Park and the commander of the police in Highland Park to talk to the president about this. He was very receptive. And of course, now that the Republicans control the House, it'll be more difficult. But I believe we can get it done on a national level. We needed to protect the people of Illinois right now.
And Governor, as you know, this gun is used in those kind of mass shootings that horrify the country and are terrible. But other critics say this law doesn't do a whole lot to stop the daily scourge of gun violence in Chicago, which is used with handguns, many of them illegally obtained. What more can be done on that level to stop what we're seeing in Chicago and have seen in Chicago for decades now?
Well, there's no magic solution to this. Banning assault weapons, banning high-capacity magazines and switches is just one part of the problem. We've got to address the underlying causes of gun violence, of course, and that means addressing poverty. It means making sure that our kids get a good education, that we're investing in these neighborhoods that really need small businesses and entrepreneurs to come forward. So we're doing that work also. We've put significant dollars into gun violence prevention, literally funding programs where we're getting kids summer jobs and jobs all year round to keep them from joining gangs and getting involved in these kinds of shootings.
Governor Pritzker, good morning. Jonathan Lemire. Cracking down on the sale of these weapons is one thing, but possession seems to be a bit of a trickier matter. Could you walk us through the mechanics of what do you do if someone, A, already has one of these who lives in your state, or B, simply walks over a state line with one of these semi-automatic weapons? None of your neighboring states have similar bans.
Right. So in the legislation, we require over the next year for anybody that has an assault weapon today to actually come forward and register that, the serial numbers of the existing firearms with our state police. after a year, once those are, on record with us, they will be held accountable if their guns are used in shootings. And, of course, if they are caught with any kind of a weapon that's been banned, they'll be held accountable for that according to the law. We will enforce that law. But they have a year to let us know that they have them, and you can't go acquire one now. You have to have had the bill of sale before the date on which I signed this legislation, which was a few days ago.
Governor Pritzker, it's Jen Psaki. You've had a big week in Illinois this week because earlier this week, Illinois lawmakers also approved protections for abortions. Now, many people may or may not know abortion is legal in Illinois already. So as other states are thinking about what to do in light of the Supreme Court decision, why is this necessary to kind of take another step to protect abortion rights?
Well, you're right. I signed the Reproductive Health Act in 2019 before the Dobbs decision ever came around because we here in Illinois knew this was coming, wanted to make sure that we protected women in our state and anyone who came here. But now what's important is because essentially it's been outlawed in virtually every state around us, there are women who are coming to seek refuge and seek to exercise their rights here in Illinois. So we needed to do several things. One is to increase capacity so that we can handle that influx and also take care of the women who are right here in our own state. And then we need to protect people from the legal liability, from the criminal liability that they could be subjected to in those other anti-choice states. So that is very much a part of the law that we just passed. I'm very, very proud of what we've done. We are a pro-choice state. We've made a statement about this. We trust women in Illinois, and we will continue to do so.
All right, Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. And